When we watch a TV show that completely draws us in, hooks us, and makes it impossible for us to stop watching, it quickly becomes one of our all-time favorite shows. We can't put it down before we finish watching, and even after that we become tempted to rewatch, explore wild theories, beg writers for more, and analyze and dissect every tiny detail. When you get this preoccupied about something, it's extremely difficult to think about what is truly the most crucial question of any television viewer that decides to invest their time into watching a show from start to finish. Why? Why does this show draw me in? Why would I want to continue watching, and why is it so good that it will go right on my list of top favorite shows? This underlying question is one that television screenwriters absolutely have to consider if they want their show to even stay afloat, let alone be successful, and it is one that the marketing department of a TV show must revolve their campaign around. Succeeding in answering this question in a way that most relates to target audiences leads to overall success. Don't believe me? Then take it from Dr. Jack Shephard. Lost is a science fiction, action mystery, drama thriller, and really any other genre you can think of TV show that ran for 6 seasons from 2004 to 2010. It tells the story of Oceanic Flight 815 crashing onto a tropical island with mysteries left and right. The survivors of the flight have to navigate not only crashing onto a deserted island with what seems to be no way off, all the while trying to understand why there are such things like a monster called the Black Smoke in the jungle, a strange hatch, polar bears, and a colony of people living on the island. Very clearly, the writers of Lost were trying to captivate their audience. It worked if you hadn't guessed. But surprisingly, these seemingly random mysteries are not the biggest wow factors of the show. They aren't even the biggest reason the show is still relevant today. That belongs to the show's finale, which showed each character in normal everyday life outside of the island, meeting each other and remembering everything that had happened while they were on the island together. The final scene shows our valiant protagonist, Jack Shephard, standing in a church with all of the characters as he comes to the realization that they are all dead. Everyone hugs, and Jack opens the church doors to reveal a brilliantly vibrant light that engulfs the screen. So what's the problem? Sounds okay, right? Well, some people think so, but some really don't. Some people were very upset with the ending of Lost, saying that there was no closure given to the series, there were questions left unanswered, which may have been true, and it made no sense. This begs the question, if fans of a show that captivated audiences for 6 straight seasons had such a big problem with the series finale, does that mean that the show as a whole was a failure? The answer is no. The Lost business is by no means booming, but it's still completely relevant today, 9 years later. This is a testament to the writing of the show, including the finale, and how it paired with marketing while the show was still on the air. First of all, hats off to the writers of Lost. J.J. Abrams, Damon Lindelof, and more, for never straying away from what they wrote, no matter how much criticism was received at the end of the show. This may seem trivial, but it's actually crucial to the success of the show. If the writers even once would have made a comment about something they wish would have been different, apologized that some didn't like the ending, or really even fidgeted in an interview about the dislike of the ending, the credibility of the show would have been weakened and the success would have gone down. When a writer creates something, especially something that got as big as Lost did, they need to always stand by their work, no matter what people say. This not only ensures that the writing is strong, but it then keeps the business side of things consistent. There can be no success if everyone in a business is not on the same page. For the writers to know exactly what they wanted and then execute on that while standing by their decisions, the marketing department for the show was made completely transparent with what the audience should know, what the show was trying to get across, and what the voice of the franchise was. This propelled people to continue watching Lost until the very end because the perfectly constructed team of writers and marketers were able to work so well together. The writers wrote intriguing cliffhangers that were just impossible to ignore so that when marketers engaged audiences to watch, they kept coming back. And by the time the final episode ended, those ratings were already something the franchise had. You can't take ratings away. That's just not possible. But even beyond that, the show is still relevant. Because the writers were so good at their job, and the marketers were so good at their job, the show still remains relevant because of a controversial ending that is split in likes and dislikes. This is a hot topic for fans that watched before. Those that liked it enjoy watching the series back to try and figure out the other lingering questions, reminisce on the good old days, and maybe even get a good cry in because it's just so emotional. They also fuel the pro-Lost finale side in that age-old debate, and their opponents remain just as fired up about why they think it wasn't so good. They, too, might even rewatch to try and piece together what they think went wrong. And on top of that, Thanks to streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, a whole new generation of viewers can pick up the show to see what all the fuss is about, and then carry on those same debates. Who knows when this crazy cycle will end? Clearly, the marketing department and the writers of Lost found the perfect way to work together and find success. They created such an intricate, detailed, and overwhelming plot that yielded many ways to creatively market the show and lead to a long life of relevancy and a show that pretty much markets itself now. So, if you're ever indecisive about what kind of genre show you want to watch, or want a good, controversial ending you can get into heated debates about, your go-to should be Lost.